Change completely from the external to the human world. We'll talk about it. This next piece we show is part of a new series that we made called Frustrated Actions and Futile Gestures. And this one piece is called The Chapel of Frustrated Actions and Futile Gestures. We show it on 9 plasma screens in a grid. So here we made a video composite of all of the screens together, as if we had just recorded it. And each panel has its own sound. So this piece has sound. And the interesting thing about this piece is that it never ends. So what you see in each of these panels, and Bill will talk about this more, is an action that is repeated forever.
So this is probably, for me, one of the strangest pieces I have ever made. Because it has no slow motion, not a lot of technical things, and I don't know why I did it. Because it's not me.
Neither do I.
She was shocked when she saw what I made. And I guess what happened was, when I was, many times when I was looking for inspiration, I would go to a coffee shop and sit down with a cappuccino and try to write. So I did this many, many, many times. And then I started to look not at, would get bored, and I started looking at the people around me. And then I realized that all of these people work, most of the time during the week, like we all do. So then I was kind of really intrigued about this idea of people who wake up at the same time every morning and they go to work, and then they have a break in the afternoon so they can eat, and then they go back to work, and then in the evening they go home to their friends or their families, and they might watch television, or they might go out and go to a party, and then they go to sleep, they brush their teeth, and then they sleep, and then the next morning they do exactly the same thing over and over again. That's the tyranny of the 5-day work week. It's amazing. I don't know how people do it. But I just was fascinated with that I wanted to make a piece to honor these people that have to do the same thing over and over again. And again, I can't tell you why I made that piece. That's a unique piece in my work because it's in normal time, in a normal kind of situation. And there he is hitting his wife, or I don't know, maybe she hit him over there in the middle there. And then this one here, this one down here is the one in the boat, the guys in the boat. You probably noticed that the guy in the front is actually taking the water out of the boat, and the guy in the back is putting the water back in the boat.
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Maybe you can place your headphone, put your headphone on, right, so I can do it in Italian. Perché effettivamente anch'io ero abbastanza sorpresa da questo tuo lavoro, e a dirtela tutta ancora più sorpresa sono stata quando ho letto il testo, il piccolo testo che tu hai preparato per presentare questo lavoro nella mostra di Londra, dove l'hai presentato, dove addirittura tu citi il mito di Sisifo. E per come io ho sempre visto il tuo lavoro, mi sembrava che ci fossero sempre grandi cicli continui, eterni ritorni, ma mai futili e mai frustrati, erano cicli produttivi, no? Come nell'opera che noi abbiamo di sopra, di Incontro, noi possiamo immaginare che ad un certo punto la donna più giovane avrà il ruolo della donna più vecchia e consegnerà il mistero e la conoscenza ad una più giovane. E allora mi è tornato in mente addirittura che Sisifo era questo strano re che aveva addirittura rubato, aveva incatenato, aveva imprigionato la morte, per cui lui aveva effettivamente stoppato, completamente fermato il ciclo della nascita, della vita e della morte, che è la base del tuo lavoro, e aveva fatto questo in effetti punito dal Dio, ma perché voleva conquistare l'acqua, una nuova sorgente per la città di Corinto. E allora in qualche modo tradì Zeus per avere l'acqua, e Zeus chiese al suo fratello Ade di mandargli Thanatos, e lui imprigionò Thanatos. Per cui mi è sembrato in un certo qual modo molto molto strano tutto questo avesse davvero a che fare con te. Cosa ne pensi?
That's a valid point, and I'm happy that you brought that up. I don't know exactly what to say about it right now, but I think that for me it was just another one of these diversions. It's like, you know, you're driving in the car and you decide for no reason at all that you'll just go off the road. And I've done that a number of times for various things, and this was one of the more recent ones.
But I think also it's kind of, I mean, even if it's not in slow motion, it still moves very slowly. We instructed the performers to do their actions as though they had been doing them for 20 years. And actually when it was being recorded, when it was being shot, it was very sad to have a woman with her belongings on one side of the scene, taking everything out and then slowly putting everything back again, moving it to the other side of the frame and taking everything out and putting it back in again. It was very sad. And so afterwards, when we saw all of these panels together, it does make you feel very sad. So somebody asked, why are you doing this? Normally the work has some kind of uplifting, positive aspect to it. And then I thought, well, perhaps maybe we should learn from this piece. Maybe we feel like that woman who keeps, I must say I do sometimes, you know, who keeps moving her belongings for what appears to be no good reason. And so maybe we should pay attention.
Io volevo riprendere un po' il tema del tempo che è stato appena accennato, perché credo sia importante, soprattutto nelle due opere che abbiamo visto prima, ma un po' in tutta la tua opera. Uno dei, come tu ben sai, uno dei testi filosofici più famosi del Novecento, pubblicato in Germania nel 1927, di Martin Heidegger, si chiama Zeit und Zeit, essere e tempo. E questo aspetto filosofico indaga come l'uomo, che è centrale in tutta la tua ricerca, si misura costantemente con l'idea del tempo. Il tempo tu lo usi da un punto di vista linguistico, nel rallentare l'azione, lo usi nel tempo dilatato nei confronti con la storia dell'arte, per esempio. Quindi tu hai una sorta di fisarmonica del tempo che si muove sia sul piano della frazione di secondo dell'individuo, come abbiamo visto in questa memoria veloce del passaggio, sia nella storia dell'arte, sia nella lentezza del linguaggio. Non pensi che però questa lettura del tempo sia anche un grande rischio e quindi un grande pericolo nella scrittura di un video?
I mean, it could be considered to be a danger. I think for me, it's. I think it's really, if I'm reading you correctly, it's really for me a kind of. how can I describe it? It's a kind of compression and then a release, and a compression and a release. And between those cycles, the works appear. They get made that way. And I think that is, in a way, it's like the seasons. It's like the winter and the summer and the fall. It's something that I experience quite regularly in the way that I work as an artist. That I know when something is beginning to blossom, but I also know at that point that I need to let it go a little bit, you know, so that it can grow more. And I don't personally want to push it, you know, I'll just put it away and then bring it back again when it feels right. So it's the only way, I don't really read philosophy that much anymore. I'm really interested in our time right now. What's happening at this moment, really, for me, is the depth of reality. Because right now, we always think of time as starting here and going there, and I think that's a bad way to look at time. That's why I always think about it being sideways. I think everything exists in a single plane, in reality, in the cosmos. And I think that is something that is affecting us all the time, and we think that we're seeing the beginning, the middle, and the end. But in reality, I don't believe that's true in the cosmos. I don't think that's true that way. I think it's happening on all planes. There are probably dimensions that we don't even know right now what those things are. I know the physicists are thinking a lot about these things these days. So all of those things I think are valid, and I think that's why sometimes things can pop into your mind, you know, that you never thought about before. I really believe that. It happens. It could be a phrase or someone said or something you remembered from way back, or just some new idea just happened. You know? I think that's a really extraordinary. I think all human beings are creative. Every single one of us in this room is creative. You should never forget that. It's not just about artists being creative. I mean, you can see animals are incredibly creative. And then you just think about how they work. I remember it was a cold winter day, and I was at home, and I was looking out the window, and there was a mother bird. You know those little hummingbirds? Very, very tiny birds, and they have wings that go very fast. Okay? And I watched this mother teach her 3 birds, her 3 children, how to fly. I can almost cry even thinking about it. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And she waited patiently, and one of them was kind of stupid. So he was always falling all over the place. And the other 2 were way ahead of him. They did it much better, finally, with the flying. So then they started to help their mother with the little one who didn't fly too well. I mean, and how we've done that to each other, right? In school and different places. We've helped people, or, you know what I mean? That is a most beautiful thing that human beings have, this idea of connection, of helping someone, you know? I mean, I can take this right here, okay? I can do this. I put it on the floor, and I can tell you right now, my mother taught me how to do that. And your mother taught you how to do that. That's how things get passed on. The knowledge must get passed on. And everyone will have a part of it, but nobody finishes it. And they'll take it to the next step, appropriate for our time. I felt that very strongly with video when I first started. You know, for me it was amazing, this tool that could do all of these things. And nobody was really using it for that. They weren't using it for art. So I was just in the right place at the right time when I was young. You know, that was it. And then once you find it, keep going as long as you can. That's how human beings work. I think it's a miracle. It's quite a beautiful experience.